Black Canyon 100K is a tricky trail race that bamboozles travelers with its rock-strewn treacherous track, trudge-worthy water crossings, undulating ladder half, and unrelenting trajectory that may cause some to come traipsing into the finish line thoroughly tuckered out. My name is Tara, otherwise known as Candy Mama, and today I am going to be doing an overview of the Black Canyon 100K course. I'm going to give y'all some tips as someone who has raced it twice, and then also briefly talk about my race experience this year. So let's go. It's been about a week now since I finished Black Canyon 100K. My race experience was extraordinary. I feel like I really nailed the race this time. Last year was a little bit of a slog, but this year I really felt like I hit the hammer on the nail. You guys know what I mean. I feel like I really nailed it, and I'm so excited to talk about it. The trail does have a net downhill, however, this is mostly concentrated in the beginning of the course, which throws off a lot of runners. It does get harder. There is most of the climbing in the second half. There's an overall gain of 6,965 feet and loss of 9,094 feet. And it goes from point to point, so it starts at Meyer High School, I think in Spring Valley, and then it ends at Emory Henderson Trailhead. There is a mixture of single track and some Jeep roads, and the terrain is deceivingly technical. I remember the first year I raced Black Canyon, and somewhere I heard it was an easy, smooth trail. No, it's not. I went into the race this year knowing it has a lot of those little rocks that are gonna trip you up, roll your ankles on. So you start by running one lap around the Meyer High School track and then through a small gate towards some roads, which will spit you onto the Black Canyon Trail single track. People go out really fast, at least the people I'm with like the racers, the people who are going for golden tickets. Everyone goes out really fast because it's easy to, it's road. With the introduction of 6 golden tickets instead of 4, the competition at Black Canyon has gotten really deep, and that has changed the game when it comes to racing and going for those tickets. For those that don't know, a golden ticket is an automatic entry into Western States 100, an iconic 100-mile trail race in California. This is the only race that has 6 golden tickets. Usually it's the top 2 women and the top 2 men get the golden ticket, but now it's a top 3, so the entire podium. That has created such a deep and competitive race field. Before this year, with the introduction of the 6 golden tickets, the plan for a lot of racers were to start sleepy and ease into the race. It was all about patience in that first 20 miles. Because like I've mentioned, it's all pretty much downhill for that first portion, and then you got a lot of like hills and mountains you have to climb up in the second part. Now though, that has changed the game with the introduction of the 6 tickets. It's such a deep field, you really have to be going for that win in the very beginning. You have to put it all on the line from the gun. Most people aren't going for that golden ticket though, and personally, I wasn't not going for the golden ticket. If I did come in first, second, third, I would happily accept that golden ticket because not a lot of people get that opportunity. But I was out there for different reasons. I had a couple goals. My goals were to race smart, to compete throughout, finish under 9 hours and 30 minutes, and also relish in the opportunity to race against some of the best trail racers in the country. This was and is the most competitive 100K in 2024, and I thought it was a great opportunity to see where I sat in the field. So I did pretty well for my personal goals, and if your goals kind of align with mine, I'd recommend easing into the race and being patient for that first 20 miles. And then mile 20 through 30, I would progress the field, let your effort become a little more intense, and then for the last 30 miles, it's time to go. With all that downhill, you are really working your quads, and it will come back to haunt you when the real race happens at mile 30 after Black Canyon City. So for the first 20, again, it's gonna be easy and flowy. Then after you run through the busy Bumblebee aid station where you do meet your crew for the first time, you immediately start climbing a rocky technical trail. Up, up, up. At the top, you are weaving around some beautiful canyons lined with cactus. A new aid station, being Deep Canyon, which is another crew spot, has a tricky and technical downhill, so pay attention to that when you're going down. And then after Deep Canyon, you will be on some undulating trail until the end. So hopefully you still have some gas left over to make it to the end relatively well. After doing an out and back into Black Canyon City Aid Station, which is a great opportunity to see who is ahead of you because it's out and back, you can see who's around you. After the Black Canyon City Aid Station, you do cross the Aguas Fria River before climbing a huge mountain. It's so big. After that, you go up and down until making it to around mile 52-ish at Table Mesa, which is another crew access aid station. And then there's one more large climb after Table Mesa that is runnable. Honestly, all of these climbs are runnable, and if you want to compete, you really should be running up all of them, otherwise you're losing a lot of time. But honestly, it's not too hard to do. They are easy to keep a running pace on. Then you make it to the last aid station where you have about 3.5 miles to go. And that last 3.5 miles are simple because it's on Jeep Road, but it gets really technical. I rolled my ankle twice during this race, and it was like literally not even like 200 yards before the end of the race. Like I saw the finish line, I was right there, and I twisted my ankle. I was like, oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. So it is technical. There's a Jeep Road, but then it gets pretty technical. So I'd also recommend packing multiple headlamps into different drop bags, or sending it with crew, or just carrying it the entire way, because a lot of folks with the time delay this year didn't have light for the finish, so they couldn't really go as fast with the technical trail. It gets really dark out there too in the desert. Something does not want me to record this video right now. Something does not want me to talk about my race experience at Black Canyon, because this is literally the 4th time I've tried to record and something goes wrong every time. If it's my audio or if it's my camera, things are just going wrong, and this has never happened. I'm gonna try this again. Hopefully I can get through it. So I'm gonna just go right into it. My race experience was heavily influenced by my 2023 race. I went out way too fast and was drained by halfway. It was an absolute slog into the end, and my goal was to just finish. I finished in 9 hours and 56 minutes, and I was 12th woman, and just had not the best time for the last, especially the last 10 miles, but like for the last like half really was, like last 30 miles was hard. So I made time and effort goals for myself in order to race smart. That was one of my goals, was to race smart, to compete throughout, to finish under 9 hours and 30 minutes, and then also to enjoy the experience of being able to compete against a bunch of really fast ladies in the sport, fast men and ladies in the sport. Another goal was not to re-injure my ankle. I sprained my ankle in November at JFK 50 miler and re-injured it about a little more than a month ago. Well, really, it was like a month before Black Canyon. I took my recovery really seriously, went to the PT and did my workouts every single day, and was really trying to work hard to recover my ankle. I did go in feeling confident with the race after taping it, and I'll just jump ahead. I did not. I did like turn it a couple times and it did hurt, but it goes away within like a couple minutes. In 2024, I'd be crewed by my friend Abigail West, who is an artist out of Athens, Georgia, and she did the artwork for Black Canyon this year. So if you were there and you got a bandana, that's her artwork on there. And then I would also be crewed by my friend Reese Barkley, who a lot of you have seen in my races. She is a good friend of mine. So Abigail and I flew in Wednesday night in order to like acclimate to Phoenix and just kind of like relax before the race. The race has been delayed by 2 hours because apparently they got an inch of snow last night in Meyer. We're starting at 9 a.m. instead. We're gonna be there 3 hours early for the race. But it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. We're just waiting here. Parking lot. It's pretty. Yeah. There's snow in the distance over there. The only thing this affects is the when to have headlamp. Other than that, I don't think it really affects a lot. I think this might get in a lot of people's heads, which it shouldn't, because some of these things happen. It's just another part of the whole race experience. Doing trail races, sometimes this happens. You gotta be flexible, but it isn't good for some people who have drop bags and who have already dropped them off and they don't have headlamps. hoping I finish in time not to have headlamp, but also I have crew. So was delayed another 30 minutes. It's gonna probably be delayed more because there's so many people at the porta potties and the buses just came in. What do you think about this, Reese? I'm ready for the start. So we began at 9:30 a.m. and I just focused on my own race. The previous year I was like in this really fast pack. I was falling all over the place. I got really bloody right in the beginning. This year I just focused on my own race. I tried to do a pace that felt comfortable. I also tried to fuel often in the beginning because I didn't know how I'd feel at the end of the race. Usually at the end I'm having trouble fueling myself, so I wanted to be able to fuel comfortably in the beginning. My gut training paid off. So if you watch my 2 ultra tips video I posted maybe a couple months ago, I'll post it up here, but I go over like, oh, you should probably like eat the food that you're going to be racing with. That's common sense for a lot of people, but for some reason that was like an epiphany to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I should be doing that. I should be getting used to the foods, the ingredients in the gels, in the goo roctane. That's exactly what I used for the race. Leading up in my training, I used goo roctane and I used Spring Energy, Canterbury, and Awesome Sauce, and got used to those ingredients. And then come race time, those are the 3 items I used, majority of, felt fine. I fueled the entire time. I felt so good eating. The beginning of the race was extremely muddy, but as always, that course like is so beautiful. So I was also just taking in the views of like the mountains. It's so beautiful. I think we're over 5 miles. 4 is 5, somewhere in there. I'm gonna slow up a bit. It's too fast. I feel like I'm in a good spot. Just chilling now. So beautiful. Relaxing. The first part, just patience. Relaxing. It's gonna be plenty hard in the future. Don't need to make it harder now. For a couple miles, I ran with my friend Natalie Sandoval, who was actually crewing and pacing me last year in the 2023 Black Canyon. We chatted about life, and I took this time to just fuel well and just like relax before getting to Bumblebee aid station, which is the first crew access aid station for the race. Just past Bumblebee. Feeling good. It's time to progress because this 10 miles is carnage. This is hard. You know, I'm doing this next 10 miles. There's a lot of weaving in and out of canyons, and you could see a lot of the competition ahead of you. So I started setting my sights on a couple people I saw ahead of me, and I would just try to like run to catch them. I started running with Riley Brady towards the end of that 10 miles. I was trying to keep up with their pace as like a motivation before getting to Deep Canyon aid station, which is the second aid station crew can get to. Around this time, I did fall, which is normal. By this point, I'd fallen so many times, and I usually fall like a dozen times during a race. There's a lot of sharp rock that line like parts of the Black Canyon Trail, like these sharp rocks that like jet out, and I fell into it and like sliced my elbow, and just blood started like coming out, just bright red blood. I mean, I had sliced it and there was like a piece of skin, just like a skin flap. It was just a deep cut. It just started like bleeding all over, and I tried to raise my elbow so it was above my heart, but you know, it was throwing my running off, so I just stopped and just let the blood flow. So for this race, I decided not to have a pacer. You can pick up a pacer for the last 50K of the race. I decided not to have a pacer because honestly feel like I rely a little too much on the pacer, and I forget the work I have to be putting in mentally and physically in order to race well. I wanted to test to see if like I could complete the race well without one. So after Deep Canyon aid station, it's a little sketchy to run down like this rock field, and then you like run up and then you do like some hills on these Jeep roads. And the next aid station after that was Black Canyon City. And you can see the people who are ahead of you and behind you. And at that time, I had the opportunity to see like who's ahead of me. And I saw Heather Jackson was first. She was on her way out of Black Canyon City with about a 20-minute lead on me. Rachel Drake was on her heels, then Becca Lindell, Lauren Puertes, Jenna Bensko, Kat Drew, Marcy Kilmack, and Anna McKenna. I all saw them ahead of me, and everyone was looking super strong going out of Black Canyon City. And I knew it was ahead of me, and I knew I could probably catch a couple of them, because at this point, around 30 miles in, now it was about like, let's get this race going. Let's just give it all we got. Looking back, I don't think I really gave it all I got for that last 50K, but I think it's good that I recognize that. So next time in a race, I can really go faster and be like, you can do more. You can. Once you go to Black Canyon City, you then like drop down to the Agua Fria River. You climb up this huge mountain. It's this long climb. So I caught up to Anna McKenna, and I was actually running with her and her pacer for a while. I felt like nervous to go past her and then like be passed again. And that's just something in my mentality I need to get over. I felt like their pace was really good and it was nice to run with somebody, but I felt like if I just like pushed a little harder, that's what it's all about in racing, like, is to push yourself. I had a burst of energy and ran past her and her pacer. And then I got to Table Mesa aid station, and like I was pretty depleted getting there. Around 2 miles earlier, I did ask my crew to find me a pacer, because with the 2.5 hour delay, it would be getting dark, and I was nervous with this like mental fatigue. I was nervous I would get off trail. Like Arizona gets super dark, and I don't think I'm used to like those kinds of trails. Like you can see a lot. I was also mentally fatigued, and I asked my crew to find me a pacer for that reason. They didn't, which is fine. It's kind of hard at that point to find somebody with like literally less than 20 minutes. And they were just encouraging me. They force fed me like Tylenol, salt sticks, and like caffeine pills to get me like going. And they were just encouraging me. And my coach Megan was there, and she said something. She said, you can do hard things. You've done hard things before. And I was like, yeah, for sure. I'm going to carry that until the very end. I know I can do this. I felt weak and I felt like I was fading quick, but I took a chance after listening to what they had to say and left the aid station wanting to leave it all out on the course. I was out here to get to this point of exhaustion and still move forward. I was out here to compete against some of the best talent in the world, the country. I was out here to dive into the unknown of fatigue and go beyond my perceived limits. I was out here to do something extremely hard. So as I left the aid station, Abigail yelled at me, aggression. That was my word of the race, and I felt like a fire under my ass. For the last 10 miles, I just worked extremely hard to leave everything I had on the course.
Almost done. I think I've got like 5 miles left. I can do that on my own. I'm okay. Just want to be over. But here we go.
So when I got to last aid station, it was about 3.5 miles to go, and my headlamp was dying. Begged the people at the aid station, the volunteers, to please let me use their headlamp. I'm so pissed at the BioLite headlamp I got. It was just died on me. I was like, and it's so dark. It gets so dark so quick in Arizona. I didn't want to be stumbling in the dark, so luckily this woman got me this really bright headlamp. And whoever you are, just thank you so much. It wouldn't have been the race it was without you. So I crossed the finish line into the arms of Abigail and Reese. We hugged, and immediately my legs cramped up and I couldn't stand, so they set me down. But I was treated at the aid station there for all my various gashes and cuts, thanks to MedStar Solutions again for their help. Love them. Was it 9:19, I think, is the time I got, around there. At some place. It's a PR on this course by 40 minutes, I think. So that's pretty cool. I got pretty banged up, lots of blood. What's new? But I'm proud of myself. I did what I came out here to do. I feel like I worked really hard
to achieve what I achieved, and feels good. It just hurts right now. I'm like hurting pretty bad. That's all.
So, like I mentioned, the 2024 race was extremely competitive, and on the men's side, Hayden Hawks won first. He set a course record coming in at 7 hours and 30 minutes. 6 months prior, he had gotten a knee surgery and now is just back at it. Jupiter Carrera Casas got a time of 7:39 and won second place. And then Chris Myers came in at 7 hours 43 minutes. They all accepted their golden tickets and are going to Western States. So excited. And on the women's side, Heather Jackson ended up finishing the race but did not place. I saw her at the third to last aid station, and she told me that she sent it too hard, which is like a universal experience among racers. It's like you go for it, you put everything on the line. Especially with a Black Canyon race, you put everything out there, and if it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, sometimes it's not your race, and that's fine. Heather just went for it, and you gotta respect Heather when she just goes out so fast. Didn't place, but she did finish, which I love. There's a lot of women that they didn't have their race that they wanted to, but they still finished. It's so admirable to, like, maybe it's not your day, but you're still gonna go out there and finish and work on that, like, mental toughness side of racing. Rachel Drake came in at 8:47. Incredible. She was first, and she's so fast and so sweet. Congratulations to her. Becca Wendell came in second in 8:52. Lauren Puertes was 9:06. All accepting their golden tickets and their eventual entry into Western States 100. The women's race was extremely stacked, like I mentioned. So after Lauren came in at 9:06, Jenna Bensko came in 4 minutes later. Then it was Kat Drew another 4 minutes later. Genevieve only came in like 2 minutes later after Kat, and then I came in 2 minutes after Genevieve. And incredibly stacked. Like, that doesn't happen in ultras where you just get this like one after the other. It's a very long race, 100K, and it was just exciting to see so many women under that like 9 hours and 30-minute mark. Yeah, but I highly recommend this race. If you are competitive, it's a great opportunity to see where you sit. If you want to get a Western States golden ticket, this is a perfect place to do it because there are 3 to win. It's a gorgeous trail. It's a gorgeous race. It's tricky. It's hard, but it's so worth it if and when you get to the finish. All right, y'all, that is it for me talking about Black Canyon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you in some regard. So I will mention a couple things. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It really does help me with the algorithm to get these videos out to more people. So if you aren't already subscribed and you watch my videos regularly and you enjoy them, please do me a favor and subscribe or comment or like. It really helps me out. I also started my membership program, and that's exciting for me, because I'm going to post these Appalachian Trail FKT prep videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch a video up here. I am going to go for the fastest known time on the Appalachian Trail in August, and I am posting videos talking about my training to my members. All that money I'm getting from the memberships through YouTube is going to the Appalachian Trail FKT. So if that's something you want to support, then become a member. There are 3 different tiers, and every single tier gets access to those AT prep vlogs. So if that's something you want to see or something you want to support, then please become a member of the Terror Treks YouTube. I really appreciate it. If you watch all the way to the end, please comment a tiger emoji. That lets me know that you watch all the way to the end. And the tiger emoji symbolizes aggression, the word of the race. That's all from me for right now. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you. Bye.